I want to share with you a common psychological trap that many people fall into when they're engaging in their ibadah and their acts of worship. This is a trap that creates a lot of distress for the person on the spiritual path. It is a trap that robs a person of great nourishment from their ibadah as it compromises their sincerity, their ikhlas. But this is also a trap that creates a lot of instability, where the person is constantly going back and forth between I'm a good person and I'm a bad person, where they have an all or nothing approach, where a lot of toxic shame is coming up and they're constantly feeling worthless and defeated on the spiritual path. So make sure you watch this video to the very end so you reap the full benefits. This trap that I'm talking about is the trap of self-worship, where you are making yourself the destination and not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be careful of making yourself the destination even when you engage in acts of worship. Today, there's so much obsession around the self, and this is something that I mention extensively in my Heart Over Mind and Ego method, because we don't realize that the world we are in is programming us to fixate on the self. The more you fixate on the self, the less you fixate on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the ego gets attached to labels, and this is something we don't realize. The ego loves to always have a label for itself. This is why we live in a time where people are obsessed with labels. I have this disorder and I am introvert, I'm an extrovert. And they're not using it for what it's intended, a tool, a guiding tool to help you navigate healing, to help you navigate growth and self-development. People are attaching to it for the wrong reasons, because the more that the ego attaches to labels, the more important it feels. And so when people engage in acts of worship, a lot of times what they don't realize is they're constantly looking to attach to the label of, am I good, am I bad? So if I can engage in this perfect spiritual routine, I'm a good person, I am a spiritual person, I match that ideal of what a spiritual person is. And it's not about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's about the image of being a spiritual person. It's about the image of being a good person. So be careful of this. Be careful of making your image, your self-image, yourself the destination and not Allah when you're engaging in acts of worship. And I want to share with you a powerful way that you can protect yourself from this, is that when you engage in acts of worship, keep the eye of your heart on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you find yourself increasing in acts of worship. First of all, astaghfirullah al-azim for any flaws in this worship, like meaning like any imperfection in it, any, Ya Allah, please forgive me for any lack of sincerity in it, and please accept it from me. And alhamdulillah ya Rabb, alhamdulillah, thank you for allowing me to worship you. Thank you for allowing me to get up and do qiyam. Thank you for allowing me to do tahajjud. Thank you for allowing me to do dhikr. Thank you, Ya Allah, for the ability to worship you. Alhamdulillah, increase me, Ya Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, be grateful to me, I shall increase you. So be grateful to Allah for your